All right, so I'd like to call the meeting to order at 7:02 if I could. Thank you everybody for joining tonight. If you could just go through a quick roll call, who's in the room here and who's on the phone. So, sorry. In the room here we have Brianna from SCTV, John Miller, myself, Stephen Shea, and Nancy Hope. And on the phone we have Alicia Anthony, Larry Gumet, Steve Kirby, Linda Hayes, Rachel Young, Carl Campagna, and Kevin Kelly right now, and waiting on Stephanie Holland. So with that, if we could just take a quick look at the minutes from last meeting and see if there's any edits or changes or anything we need to make there. That'd be great. Does anyone have any edits or comments on the meeting minutes?
No, I don't.
All right. Being done, I'd like to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from October 27th, 2020, as written. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
So John Miller in the room, seconded. Alicia, if we could do a quick roll call, it'd be great.
Linda? Yes. Al?
Al? Oh, Al's on the phone.
Oh, Al. Sorry. Al is not going on the minutes.
No, he does. Yeah, I didn't know he was on the phone. Perfect.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, Al.
Carl?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Tina?
Yes. All right. So everybody's in favor, so the motion passes. Great, thanks. So we'll move right into it. Steve Kirby, if you want to take over and give your update and see where we're at.
I will, thanks, Steve. As far as the senior center progress goes, over the last couple of weeks, the contractor has installed the railings on stair 2, which is an interior stair. With the exception of the wall rails, they won't put those on until after the painting is complete. Siding installation continues. We're still waiting for the brick delivery supposed to be this week. I haven't heard that it was delivered late today. We're waiting on the thin brick so that the masing can get started. Second floor is being painted right now. First floor is gypsum board and paint. The elevator installation is ongoing. The MEPFP rough-ins are also ongoing. Columbia Gas came yesterday, so the gas service is into the building.
Oh, good.
Nice.
The site contractors continue with sidewalk pours in and around the building. The main entry traffic control islands have been installed, which was the change order, the right turn only. The old gate entry has been closed off and granite has been installed. You can no longer drive in there.
Yeah.
They've also removed much of the asphalt on the old driveway area. Is there a question?
No.
No, I said the granite looks good. It looks sharp.
Yep. The granite has also been installed at the Cudworth First Parish intersection where the old driveway used to go off between the posts. The generator's been set in place.
Yeah.
We've had a fairly successful team meeting with the contractor. Went very well. It was organized. The fencing is due to start installation next week. Final top coat of paving maybe this Saturday or potentially next Saturday. I did put a notice in the on the website for this coming Saturday. Any Saturday work is okay, but it's an 8 o'clock start.
Yeah.
The recreation center elevator installation is ongoing there, as well as plumbing and electrical. The main entry canopy steel has been installed. We are again waiting for the thin brick delivery over there. We do have a leak in the gym that we're trying to chase with the roofing contractor, although he's been yet to be arrive on the site. Also, this week on Thursday, we go into the planning board to review all of the site-related changes that have occurred. For instance, the change to the apron on the carriage house requested by the historical commission, the right turn only traffic islands, the slight adjustment to one of those, some sidewalk revisions. So I'll be reviewing those this coming Thursday at 6:30 on the 8th.
How you joined in?
As far as
Hey, it's Stephanie.
Hey,
Sorry, my line.
It's good.
As far as the water infiltration issue that we've had, it's been greatly reduced. We have yet to schedule the spray test on the windows. We did have the contractor install sealant under the base flashing, which was recommended by the envelope consultant EPA. So that work has been done.
Okay, so you're still going to carry.
Questions on the progress?
You're still going to carry forward with the spray testing, Steve, for the exterior.
Yeah.
Oh, we're still going to. The contract calls for the water test on the windows. It's in the contract.
Okay. So that right-hand turn only, you brought up there were some changes there. I also had a note from the neighbors. They were looking at, what were the changes to the right-hand turn?
There was one change on the island that was the southmost island on the radius of the bottom of it, because we had the consultant do an auto turn analysis and realized that the configuration that had been put out originally would not allow a delivery truck to come in without running over it. So we softened the radius a bit. The island is still there.
Okay.
Just the radius is clipped a little bit to allow a truck to. We don't want the truck running over it. It's just going to be damaged and be a maintenance headache.
Yeah. Okay. So it's built to the spec of that stamped drawing, anyways. That was put out.
Correct. Everything except that bottom radius.
Okay.
So, but I'm going over that on Thursday. So.
Okay. I didn't get any exact detail. It just noted that it wasn't made to the specification. But
No, I was copied on that too. That's the only thing I can figure is the issue. But there was no detail on the complaint, so I'm not sure exactly what they were doing.
okay. All right. And how's the loam and sod and all that? Well, not sod, but the hydro seed, all that stuff going?
Well, they haven't done it. They're not going to do any more seeding at this point because it's out of the season, and
That's smart.
that's at their choice. We are seeing some of it, some of the hydro seed pop, but none of it has been accepted at this point. So.
Good. All right, so they'll come back in the spring and finish that out. That makes sense at this point, obviously.
Well, they're going to have new areas that they have to do around the building anyway. So.
Yeah. And then the bushes, and there was also the bushes. There was some notes that they were maybe worried, concerned they were too close to the fencing, but they were. There's ample room there, right, for them to get through and trim them and all that stuff.
All the plantings were located by the landscape architect when he came out on site a couple days after the delivery.
Okay.
So I'm gonna leave that to him. I'm not a plant expert, but we had him come out specifically to approve the plantings. Before they were put in the ground, we didn't want to obviously plant anything that was dead.
Yeah.
But also the locations of them. which is typical on every job. The LA comes out and approves the location.
Yeah, I mean, they're the subject matter expert. I mean, I wouldn't expect anyone to know that but them. All right. I think, there was one more.
Anybody else have any questions?
There was something about a storm drain that was blocked out in the street. Was that part of the construction or something like that?
I did not see that.
Okay.
We are required to have the silt sacks in the catch basins, and they've been there since the beginning. That's the Concom requirement, planning board requirement.
Okay.
So, but I did not see a complaint on that yet. Anyway.
Okay. And then just the pathways and the sidewalks and stuff. I know they're doing street work. Is that even considered a sidewalk there? I didn't think there was a sidewalk up front there, but I don't think it is. That's just.
Well, the sidewalk goes up to the old Gage School entry, and that's where it always stopped. And then people would walk into the Gage School property and walk on the driveway. And what we had, and we're maintaining as a pathway, is if you go beyond that, there's the grass path between the construction fence and the Cudworth house that we had opened to get around to Cudworth. However, at this point, we're doing construction that's required for the contract on the street at the two main entrances. We closed the sidewalk because it's a safety issue.
Right.
And I can't reroute people across the street to the north side of First Parish because there's no sidewalk there.
Right.
So it's a temporary condition.
No, I mean it's all part of construction. I mean it's at some points there's a rock and a hard place, you know. Okay, but that's.
I mean, once they put everything back together, then they'll be able to reuse it again.
Yeah.
Up until the time that we finish the sidewalks and allow the site to be occupied by the town residents.
All right. Is the pedestrian walkway on the property still open?
Cut through the middle.
Yeah.
Which one you're referring to?
The one that started at like the main entrance there behind the trailers. The area behind the trailers on the outside of the fence, that's still there. It's just the section that we just dug up at the entries. Okay.
Put in the curbing.
Oh, right.
That's the area that's under construction.
Okay.
Yeah, you go past the old entry piers, and there's a space there between the wall, the stone wall, the existing stone wall.
It's still
That's
there.
how you walk along to the Cudworth house.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments so far? All right. All right, good.
Okay. I'll quickly go through the photo documentation.
Okay.
Just have to give me a minute.
Hold on, Nancy's bringing it up here. Hold on.
Not so fast, Steve.
I lost it. Here it is. Round peg, square hole. All set, Steve.
All right, I'll send it. You good to go, Steve?
Okay. Right. Thank you. Okay. The first photograph is just showing the handrails have been now welded onto stair number 2, which is the secondary stair within the building. Next photo is showing the sheetrock and the soffits on the first floor in progress. Next photo is showing the optical partition track that did come in a little bit earlier than we had anticipated. So that's has been installed in the multi-purpose room. Next photo is a shot of the gas service being installed. Riley Brothers was the subcontractor for Columbia Gas, did the street work, and then the trenching on the site was owned by Delphi's site subcontractor. And they were able to go under the wall without having to damage the stone wall.
Oh, good.
Next couple photos is going to be the installation of the right turn only traffic control curbing. Slide 6 is when they started. Slide 7 is a shot from the street of the completed curbing. A little closer view on slide 8. The reason you've got two separate islands there is because the crosswalk has to go through, it has to be maintain ADA accessibility. Next photo is and the entry asphalt has been removed. This is a shot of the same thing from the road. Next photo is a shot of the curbing at Cudworth and First Parish, where the old driveway used to come out from the gym. And the same photo from the street. Slide 13 is a shot of the generator sitting on the pad on the north side of the building. Slide 14 is the same thing from the opposite view. You'll see that the pipes are already set in order to take the fence posts. That will have the fencing enclosing the generator. Slide 15 is a photo of sidewalks being poured at the drop-off area at the senior center. Photo 16 is essentially the same photo later on in the day with the finisher floating the sidewalk panels. And the last photo, 17, is a shot of the new steel at the main entry canopy for the recreation center.
Thanks, moving
Any
on.
questions?
No, I don't have anything. We're getting some feedback on the phone. If you're not speaking, could you put the phone on mute? Thank you.
Okay, the next item I just wanted to go over.
Is everyone on mute except for Hello? Is anyone there?
Yes, I'm here.
Carl, Carl, maybe if you're not talking, maybe we can put the phone on mute. That'd be great. Thank you. All right, Steve.
The next time I wanted to touch base on was COVID-19. We did have a worker for one of the subcontractors test positive. However, he had not been on our site for 2.5 weeks. But out of caution, the subcontractor removed their crew from the site. It was the drywallers and had all of their people tested, which was last week. All the tests came back negative, and they did return to the site today.
That's good. That's a good.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's a great move. Good to hear.
Very good.
How about any of the delays? You had some delays for the COVID, didn't you, with the doors maybe, or,
In terms of material?
yeah?
Yeah, right now, there's been no update on any better delivery date on the doors. It's still mid-December. I still haven't received the information that I wanted from the contractor as far as when things were released,
Right.
but I am pursuing that.
Okay. Good. Any other questions or comments? All right, carry on, Steve.
Well, I don't want to go out of the order on the agenda, so the exterior signage would be the next item with Rachel.
I mean, if everyone's okay with just getting the change orders, because you have to leave at 7:45, right?
I do, yes.
Is everyone okay with reviewing the change orders and purchase orders at this time?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
All right, let's do
Okay, I
that.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
We do have change order number 9 for approval tonight. It totaled $19,383.07. It's made up of 6 PCOs. The first PCO, number 68, is for power to the recreation center sump pump. This was for the sump pump that we had to add to the elevator pit because of the change in the plumbing code by the state. The first portion of that we had approved was for the plumber's work to get the little water separator to do the piping, but we did not have the electric cost at that time, but we wanted to get the oil water separator ordered. So the cost on the electrical power for this pump is $2,638.40. The next item, PCO 72, is for the exterior silicone at the base flashing, which was recommended by BEA, as I had mentioned earlier, in an effort to make sure we're having no water infiltration at the base of the brick and in some cases siding. That was done on P&M, and the total was $1,418.81. PCO 73 was to add an ice maker to the kitchen. There was no ice maker in the original bid documents. This was an owner request. So we are supplying, the contractor is supplying the ice maker. It needs electric, it needs plumbing, also needed some ventilation or some air conditioning because of the heat. And it has to be put up on a platform to facilitate the drainage. The total of this PCO is $6,708.71. PCO 74 was to relocate meter sockets from the electric room to the transformer pad location. This was a request by National Grid. The electrical engineer had them located in the electric room. They did not like that. There was much discussion on this issue between Griffin Electric, WBA, the engineer, and a representative from National Grid. Ultimately, it is going to be relocated. The cost of it being $1,597.42. PCO 75, mechanical equipment panel designation. It's essentially, there was some of the mechanical units up on the roof, the ACCUs, the ERB, and the makeup air unit were designated to go to a panel that did not appear on the drawings. There was an error in with where it was to go. So essentially, the electrician didn't own any of the electrical for it. Griffin and WA met, worked out where in another panel was to go, essentially buying circuit breakers for these items. But they're high effort circuit breakers. So the cost on this is $6,295.02. The last item is PCO 78. This is to relocate an existing sprinkler head in the recreation center. It ended up laying out within the the elevator machine room, which, if I code it can have no water in that room. So it's essentially cutting this existing sprinkler head back and repositioning it within the lobby. That cost was $724.71. So again, the total for change order number 9, $19,383.07. It has been signed by the architect and the contractor.
All right, the ice maker, did we talk about the ice maker before and review that?
Yeah, a little bit.
We did, yeah, okay. John said you probably talked about it. All right, that sounds fine. And this, the electrical equipment, the panel designation, I mean, that you'll mark down as a missing architecture or whatever, missing design?
Correct, yes.
Okay. Where does this leave us with the contingency budget area?
Well, right now, again, I carry a lot of placeholders for the things that haven't been resolved yet and potential future items, but we are at the point where I've really got to look at what's left. We've got about 11% of the contingency left. Hopefully there'll be some other line items in the budget that we may be able to use because we may be getting some good pricing on some things. But we got about $56,000 left right now. That's if everything that I have listed is approved and is implemented.
Okay. And you're still
as always, I'm keeping an eye on everything that, if it's something that isn't completely essential, it's probably not going to be approved.
And you're still carrying the cash for that, the parking lot, whatever?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's,
An estimate.
yeah,
It's an estimate.
That's too bad that money's just.
Parking lot, the design of the parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so that's not terrible, I mean, that's not too bad. All right. Any questions or comments on change order number 9?
No.
No.
All right.
No.
I'd like to make a motion to approve change order number 9 from Delphi Construction, including 6 PCOs. Numbers are 68, 72, 73, 74, 75, and 78. The change order number 9 amount is $19,383.07. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Carl. We do a roll call, Alicia, that'd be great.
John Miller?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Stephanie? Yes. Carl?
Yes.
Linda? Yes. Steven?
Yes. All right, that's everyone. So everyone is approved, so the motion passes. So good, thank you.
Thank you. We do not have a requisition from Delphi for tonight. I thought we were going to. We went back and forth on revisions to the requisition number 6. We had some additional comments to what they thought was their final yesterday, and they did not respond, so we'll have to defer that to the next PBC meeting.
Okay.
The next item I have is the monthly invoice for BH plus A. It's invoice number 24795 in the amount of $18,643.60. It's for construction administration to 82% of the contract and FF&E to 92%.
All right, this is a standard monthly bill. I looked at it earlier, and it looks pretty consistent with what we've been seeing. Any
Exactly the same as September.
Yeah.
Same amount as September.
Yeah. Any questions or comments on BH plus A's invoice for October services?
No.
All right. I'd like to make a motion to approve Bargman Henry and Architect invoice number 24795 for service performed through October 31st in the amount of $18,643.60, bringing contract administration to 82% and FF&E work to 92%. Is there a second? Second by Larry, I believe that was. If you do a roll call, Lisa, that'd be great.
Linda? Yes. Carl?
Yes.
Stephanie? Yes. Larry?
Yes.
JD?
Yes.
Steven?
Yes. Great. All right, one more. We get Vertex is here. If you want to just run through this quick, Steve, and we'll good to go.
Yes, Vertex invoice from the period of September 27th to October 31st, number 136526, for a total of $36,559.88. There are a couple of Fitzmyer and Tachi HVAC commissioning invoices that are included on our invoice also.
Yeah. Small.
Again, looks pretty consistent with what we've seen in the past month. I looked over it earlier. Looks good. Any questions or comments from the board?
No.
All right, I'd like to make a motion to approve Vertex invoice number 136526 for October services in the amount of $36,000. Hold on, sorry. I lost the page with the total here. $36,559.88. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Carl. Can you do a roll call, Alicia?
Linda? Yes. Stephanie? Yes. Larry?
Yes.
JD?
Yes.
Steven?
Yes.
And Carl?
Yes.
All right, that's everybody. Everybody's in favor, so the motion passes. Great, thank you. Steve, thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yep. I'll stay on until I have to leave. Thank
Okay.
you. Appreciate it.
All right, so moving right along here in the agenda, the next item up for discussion is a discussion on signage in the building with Rachel Young from BH plus A. So Rachel, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you. So I sent over some photos and elevations earlier today. So last week I talked about this at the last meeting. We had discussed putting the main signage on the exterior building on the west facade in the center bay. we said that that made the most sense because it didn't pose any confusion. In other words, it wasn't over a door that people might think is an entry door. There are quite a few doors on the site. And in addition, we thought that would be visible as you're approaching on First Parish. And then the second piece of signage we were proposing was some kind of signature signage, if you will, right adjacent to the main door that kind of drew attention to it and identified the main entrance. And so I had a chance to review that second piece with Linda, and she had proposed, instead of doing the Scituate steel, that she would prefer using the new logo that the senior center had just had designed. So I included that revision in the package I sent over this morning. And then, in addition, I sent 2 photos that show the building as you're approaching from the east and the west, because we had talked last time about what you're seeing as you're coming to the harbor and whether any signage could be visible and any confusion about where you're supposed to turn into the building. And so I think what the photos show is that while the building is tall, and I know that is something that we've discussed, the height, if you will, came up, I'm sure, a few times during design. While the building is tall, there's actually quite a bit of the building that's obscured by either landscaping or the perimeter fence that we have or the existing stone wall. And so it leaves a few areas as candidates for the signage, one being signage or the location I just noted in the center bay on the left-hand side. A second location would be on the bay that's closest to the street on the west side.
Do you have it?
And that would cover approaching from the west, and then approaching from the east, from the harbor. There's a little less area. I think that would be a prime area for signage. And I also want to note that we don't. Any additional signage that we add to the north elevation would be an additional cost to the project, so just to keep that into consideration. I think that Linda had mentioned in the last meeting, and I think this is something that's worth pursuing, is including street signage, something to the effect of, Scituate, senior center, 100 feet on the left, or something to that effect. And I think the benefit of that type of signage is, one, the visibility, because having it on the street will help, but then also it helps identify the entrance to the building, which I think might be potentially the most confusing part. I think everyone can see the building, know that it's know that it's there, but might have difficulty necessarily finding the entrance, especially since we relocated what was the main entrance to the gate school complex. Now it's further down the west side of the site.
Okay. We were trying to.
Nothing was attached.
No. I was trying to send Nancy the PDF here, so.
Sure. I can forward it through too if that's something, if you want me to do that now, I can do that.
Sure, yeah, if you can. I was trying to do it on my phone here. It's not.
Yeah, no, just one second. I'll send it to Nancy. Is there anyone else I should send it to? Like Stephanie or anyone else?
I sent it to everyone this morning. We should have
Yeah, I have it.
put it up on the phone here, up in the, not the phone, but the.
Oh,
1 second.
So if I could just ask too, so I was not present at the last meeting, this is Linda, and I think the lettering had been proposed in the same way that the picture is showing driving east, right, past the abutters or facing the entrance side or the driveway side. And potentially we would see the Scituate Senior Center lettering in that proposed middle building peak, middle building. But I was also noticing driving from, from the harbor side, that there is some land where the plantings are, in front of where the butters are, sort of, just to the side of the entrance where the transformer is going and all. There is some land there, and I just didn't know, Karen and I didn't have a chance to talk about this, but, the idea of signage there, like the town library sign that they have on their grounds. So it's hard to say right now where we might be able to place something later that would help. But, knowing that we need to get it on the building, or we would like to get it on the building, I think is kind of, at this point, maybe just the priority.
Yeah, I think getting a monument sign like that, or a sign as a whole, that opens up a whole can of worms with approvals and,
With the planning board, you mean, yeah. I mean, I guess I have always waited or felt I probably needed to wait before we talked about additional signage or something more eclectic for the senior center, with the logo or something carved or, something in the wall. I mean, I don't know if there's even a possibility of adding something to the stone wall, but short of that, which is, I think, a whole other conversation.
yeah.
If we just want to try to find the best location on the building, that does it justice, I guess.
Yeah.
But don't forget that's considered a scenic road. So I don't know if you're going to be able to put anything on that stone wall.
Yeah.
And part of our discussing during design was putting a monument sign on the property. You won't be able to see it from the street because of the stone wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say
caution us to stay away from that if we could.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
But the directional signage, coming into coming down the road, they look up the sign bylaw, you can put directional signage up, but you still would have to go through planning and probably DPW and maybe others.
Right.
Like a
Well,
suggestion that,
Yeah.
but
No, that's why Kevin, he's done it for, some of the other buildings, and I mean, technically there's a Scituate, which is a little bit of a Economic Development Commission kind of campaign, but also I think it's identifying some of the public buildings consistently. So that's a whole other thing to bring in.
Yeah. I think for the project and what we had approved and, where we're at, I think, to get something on the building is where we're at right now.
Right.
And unfortunately, field conditions do speak volumes, I mean, I think we made it, Rachel made a good effort of putting the sign where we thought it would look appropriate and be in the right place, but unfortunately, once you get the building built and really get a lay of the land and the sight lines from driving by, it just doesn't appear it's going to work in that location. And then
So what about
putting
that positioning, Rachel? I know you took the picture of driving west, and it's in blue, and it's on the facade facing First Parish, but it's not on the white. I mean, it's on the brick building, or the brick part of the building.
it's still obscured, I think, you can't see it.
Oh, by the telephone pole?
Yeah.
You tell what that, John, see?
So she was talking about last meeting, remember, kind of under that peak up right above, down below on the brick wall there, it just wouldn't,
Right.
there's no sight lines there, I think the two
And
spots,
then the top of the canvas print. Sorry, go
I
ahead.
think the two spots you located are probably the spots, honestly.
Well, so Rachel.
I'm personally unhappy with the lettering going where the red is marked. I think it's
I was gonna ask, is there anything between the blue and the red?
So the red was what was proposed last meeting.
Okay.
But honestly, once that fence is up and everything, if you're driving west, you're just not gonna see it.
And the trees, and with leaves.
Right,
Yeah.
I agree. Are talking about putting it where the blue is
Yeah.
and not the red, or are we talking about all three?
We're talking about putting it where the blue is.
Okay.
I mean, I liked having it in the middle of in the red area, but with those, looking at it now, with all those trees and they're full of leaves, you never even see it.
And the fence is, and the fence is gonna be taller than that fence.
Right.
It's an 8-foot fence, or not, it's an 8 or 9 foot. 8 foot, yeah.
8 foot.
So is the preference for the blue on the white facade or on the brick facade?
You're talking heading
White
east or
facade,
west?
driving east.
So the other view, you see,
No, this is east, this is driving east.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So driving east towards the harbor, right?
It's the west side of the building, but it's driving east.
Exactly, yeah. So it would be just
And
below
people,
the peak of that first peak of the building.
yeah. So originally, Rachel, we were a little bit concerned because we didn't necessarily want it under those windows because, well, the visibility would still be probably in question, but it was also misleading people because it was over the kitchen.
Yeah, and I think there's the possibility for less confusion, if you will, the higher the lettering goes up. In other words, lettering that's right at the door kind of signals go in this door. Lettering that's much higher up is less ambiguous.
Yep.
Would you spread the lettering over that whole blue section, or would you, make it, I mean,
Yeah.
It's about that width. It would take up, we would space it so that it would fit from the outside of one window to the outside of the other.
So, Rachel, this is the
The
idea.
the lettering would have to be that large so you can see it when you're driving down.
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good point, Carl.
Were we talking
Did
about?
you see the proposed lettering at the last meeting or during the last meeting?
Yes, within that packet I sent through, Linda, if you go to the second to last page, it shows the lettering in the center bay, and you can see that it would fit, how it would fit above the windows in the northernmost bay, if you will.
It's a little tough to see on the screen here, but do you see it there, JD, that,
Yeah.
yeah.
My question was, are we, if we're looking at the blue demarcations for lettering, are we looking at one or both blues?
Both blues.
Okay.
So one would be a cost add, though.
Okay.
So the point last meeting, remember, was to kind of get visibility and sightlines as something identifying the building both east and west.
I like that. Yeah. I mean, I like having them in both places.
Yeah. What kind of letters are those? Those standalone, just singular letters?
I'm sorry, what are you asking?
The letters, it's not a signed board, right? It's just singular, are they singular letters?
For the logo that's next to the entrance door?
No, the main one, the white
Sorry.
one.
Yeah. The main one would be individual letters.
Yeah.
Handoff letters in a
Right.
brushed aluminum.
Yeah, so she's talking, we're talking about taking that and putting it there. right?
Exactly, yeah. And in the same, and I mean, it'd be a mirror image sign on the front of the building there, right?
Yeah, it would be the same lettering, same size.
I mean, I think it looks
And
tasty.
the issue with not putting it on the first car side, that we don't think to be able to see it from,
If you're-
as you're driving up to it, is that the problem?
Yeah, if you were driving towards the high school, like headed west, you'd never know what the building was.
That's
Didn't have anything on it.
a good view, right there.
Yeah.
Right. What about the numbering?
So the number Chief already signed out, or Al, the assistant chief already signed, and the fire department looked at it and signed off
Okay.
on the location there.
Okay.
Unfortunately, that's where the other side was gonna go, but the generator's kind of blocking it.
Yeah.
So what's wrong with just putting it in one location on the other side?
On the north side?
On the door side, right, where the blue is, if that's the preference, higher up. And then why would we need the first parish lettering? Because
Because if you're driving
we're losing the
west,
visibility of it anyway.
if you're driving west,
You don't see it in.
well, where that blue sign is, you can see it.
Right. Right.
But if you're driving west, right now, we don't put any sign there, you'd never be able to tell what the building is.
Right.
Well, I've thought about that, and I think you see a building, if you're looking for the senior center, you're kind of thinking, gee, that looks like the senior center. And then maybe, practically speaking, there does need to be something at the driveway And whether that's a planning board issue or not, I mean, I think that's a reasonable, that's a reasonable conclusion that we would need some kind of signage at the driveway.
I don't think you're gonna get
I
it.
think
You got a butters you gotta deal with.
You got a butters, historical issues.
Right-hand turn only.
it's gonna be inside the property of the driveway, I'm not gonna argue it, I'm just saying, really, would that really be disputed, I guess? I don't know.
I think it would.
Yeah, I think it would too. I may be in the minority here, but personally, I'm thinking, put it on the first parish side. I don't think you need it if you're on the other side of the building. If you're looking for the senior center, you know it's at 333, you can see through it at 333. If you're looking for it, you know that it's there. I don't know, I kind of...
I don't know, have anybody seen the library signage? It's right there in front of, it's on Branch Street, it's a nice long sign, Anybody seen that?
Yeah, but at the library, they had a lot more frontage where you were able to put the sign there. You know, since this building is probably going to be used by 99% of the people in Scituate, do you really need a large sign on the building, and wouldn't a standalone sign at the driveway entrance suffice?
There's no sign at the entrance.
Yeah, we don't have one.
That's what I'm telling them you can't have, which I just think is crazy.
If we wanted a sign at the
Maybe
entrance, that's
complex.
something.
Can I use that as an example? I mean,
If we wanted a sign,
Including what that building is, yet they have a sign in the front.
so that's on a main highway, it's not a historic district, and they have plenty of frontage to do that. We get kind of everything going against us here to put a sign, a monument sign on the road.
I agree. I think, unfortunately, the signage has come after the siting of the building, the elevation, its proximity to the abutters, the 8-foot fence, and all the landscaping that you're looking at going westbound. So I agree with what Steve and Carl and Stephanie have kind of said, and it's unfortunate we need some sort of signage, but I don't think we've got to put something, I just don't know, headed eastbound, putting it up that high, if someone's going to look to the right, to the top of the fence to see a sign that's right near the top of the building, perhaps they will. But I just think it's a real problem with this building with respect to signage and marking where it is.
Any suggestions?
Another option.
I think I like the idea of the on-street directional signage. I tend to pay a lot of attention to those things, or on the street, so I just don't know if I was headed east toward the harbor looking for it, if I would look up toward the top of the roof of the building on the right behind an 8-foot fence to look for a sign.
That's a
Right up the hill.
That's a good point. It does look, to me, it strikes me as a little, it does look like kind of an odd place for a sign, honestly, where that blue is.
Well, I guess, right. My opinion might be, you need something on the building because I think aesthetically it looks nice. I think it's a nice way to identify the building, like many of the others. But then a directional sign could work, or, at some other areas that are going to bring people there anyway. But I just think it deserves some sort of identification that's visible to the public.
I totally agree, Linda. I'm just thinking that looking at that western elevation, taking it all the way to the top, I don't know if that flatters the building at all once you move into the site and you're coming to enter this really nicely designed building. So that's just my opinion.
So listen, we had a sign on the front of the building. That was what everybody looked at. Everybody signed off on it. So why can't we just shift the singular sign to where that, the west going view to that peak there, and just call it, just leave that one sign on there.
Just moving it from the center building to the one closest to the street. That's what Larry's saying, he doesn't think is very appealing. I don't
know how, I just don't know how effective it's gonna be as an informational graphic, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah.
It's more just naming the building, right? I agree with that.
Yeah.
So
I
this
think
view heading west towards, the high school, police station, or whatever, town hall, the sign being up in that kind of peak of the brick building, is that offensive to anyone? I think that gets the point across, and it's what we started with, I think it's...
Right.
Can you say that again, Steve? Are you saying to put it just along the first parish side above the brick?
Yeah, that's what we started with, that's what we all originally agreed on.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. I think just the one there. Anybody who's using the senior center or wants to find it, lives in town, and knows where it is. And if not, they haven't punched into GPS and 333 is in their face. I don't think the other side makes sense.
Well, I think the benefit here is that faces First Parish.
Yeah. Yeah, that faces First Parish, the road it's on. If you're looking for it and you drove down the road a little more and you saw it, you gotta turn around.
But as opposed to...
Go ahead.
Sorry, this is Kevin. On the peak facing First Parish Road, if we're doing single letters, individual attached letters, brushed aluminum, I heard, it may look very nice on the brick. Instead of on the white peak, put it to the right of the third window. It wouldn't fit straight all the way across, but we could put Scituate at the top and senior center on the next line.
Yeah,
and it would look attractive on the brick, and probably much more visible than the brushed aluminum on the white.
We could also do, so we have, our striking black windows. We don't have to do brushed aluminum. We could do a black sign, and then it would stand out quite nicely on the top board.
Isn't there a town standard though? Isn't that the brush what we're supposed to be using? We don't want to kind of go hodgepodge, right?
I don't think there's any
Yeah,
town
true.
standard. Is anyone aware of a town?
We have lettering at the library and at Gate School. We have lettering on brick.
Okay. Right, is it brushed though? I think it is, right?
It's not brushed aluminum, but it's that color, yes.
Well, the
You
gym is...
can lower the lettering, so in the second photo, you driving west, instead of having the lettering in the pediment, you could move it down so it's above the windows but in the brick. My concern, in addition to just identifying the building, is providing direction to the entrance. And I think in both directions, the entrance is not clear
Buying that.
until you pass it.
Right.
I agree with that, and I agree with Linda's earlier assessment that we are going to need some type of wayfinding at the entrance to the building. I know we don't have a lot of landscape there. I know we have a butter concerns, but we have wayfinding at other buildings, and it's stuff is low to the ground, and all the other buildings, new buildings, we've installed the Scituate logos, and they look quite nice, and they would have a couple of things on them, like where the visitor parking is, and the field out back, and those types of things. And when you look at, one of Steve's pictures, it shows the opening, and there is enough room, probably not on the island itself, but if you look at the opening heading towards Ronnie Shones, there's plenty of grass space there, and on the other side there'll be some too. It's not something we're going to decide now, but I think we're going to need something at the entry to identify that this is the entry, like Rachel says, and like Linda was saying earlier, some identification.
Isn't there a wayfinding sign down at the set of lights at Sean's?
Yes, it is. Just past the intersection as you come east.
Right.
Okay, yeah. There's one at top, there's one down at First Parish, and there's one there.
I mean, we're gonna make a decision on this tonight, because it has to go to the planning board on Thursday to get moving on it. I think as for to me, as for what the project carried, we all agreed on originally, design and everything, there was never anything talked about a monument sign on the road. I think to do it at this point, it's maybe cost prohibitive and just not on the cards right now. I don't know, I mean. How's that?
Well, I agree, tonight we need to decide on identification for the building, you know, on the
Yeah.
building, so. I'm okay with the First Parish area. I know it doesn't really direct people, but we can deal with that, you know, tomorrow's another day. So,
Larry, Carl, Stephanie, how do you all feel?
Yeah, I kind of like the first parish side. I like the first parish side with respect to the pediment. And I really think that the wayfinding signs that Kevin was talking about, I think the new signs, the blue and white signs, are quite effective throughout the town when and where they're put in place. And obviously we could use more of them, but I think they'll be more effective with respect to finding the entrance than putting the original elevation, western elevation sign way up on top over an 8-foot fence. That's just my opinion, and I think you're going to have a tough sell with a monument sign with the planning board.
Absolutely, I think so too. And you can't put a sign in that island, because the whole point of the island was so the fire department would drive over it.
Yeah, trucks.
No, and all it will take is a big Cisco truck that's twice as big as it was scheduled to be to kind of try to make that turn, and out it goes.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I believe the chief of the fire department requested that island be, you know, that's why it's angled that way, so that literally so the fire trucks can drive over it.
Yeah.
There's no way we could put a sign in that island.
No.
All right, I guess so. Yeah, tonight's decision on naming the building, not wayfinding, and not directional to the building, naming the building. I think is it, I think we're all in agreement on the First Parish side up in the pediment there.
Up in the pediment or on top of the brick?
I like it on the pediment, honestly, but
I'll leave it to the architects. I thought they did a nice job
yeah.
with western elevation signage and everything else. I thought they really did a nice job, and it was well done. The three different pieces were notational, but I just thought in the end they came up with a nice design. So I'll leave it in Rachel's hands.
Okay.
Stephanie, any last comments? No?
I think if I had to pick, I'd stay on the white, even though I have to respect Kevin. It probably pops more on the brick, but I feel like the natural location of where I feel like my brain is saying it should be is on the white. But I could probably go either way on that one, but I definitely think the first part said.
All right, Carl?
I echo Stephanie on that.
Yeah. I think the same thing too. My brain's kind of like, maybe the brick would be nice, but the white just seems like it's
Right.
a deep contrast.
And it's higher.
To be there,
It's just maybe better visual to get, you're above the scene.
Yeah.
if we did that, are we still saying we need the 333 in that corner where it was proposed?
Yes, that needs to be there, yeah.
Yeah,
I think the fire department needs that.
Yeah,
Well, that's on the white, is all I'm saying.
exactly, yeah. So I think it's consistent with that, right? That's a good point.
yeah, the 333 I don't think is very negotiable.
Yeah.
All right, let's just make a quick motion on it, just so it's on the record and on the books here. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the site signage naming to be placed on the First Parish side of the building on the white pediment in the font and design that was put forth by the architects of BH plus A. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
It's seconded by Stephanie. We can do a roll call.
Jeannie?
Yes?
Larry?
Yes.
Carl?
Yes.
Stephanie?
Yes.
Linda?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes. All right, so everybody approved, so the motion passes. Thank you. All right, that was good. Thank you, Rachel, for putting those up. That was a good piece of work. Appreciate it. So next item up is again with Rachel, and it's the furniture bid review and kind of voted on where we're at with the final bid on the furniture. So we'll leave it to you, Rachel. I sent out all the information to the board earlier, so hopefully everyone has had time to review it.
Okay. ORI was the lowest bidder. All the bids were pretty close, and they didn't change too much from the first bid that we did. The rebid and the second bid weren't, and the rebid and the first bid weren't very different. So we reached out to ORI today, and they returned to sign contract. And Nancy, you have that, right?
I don't have it.
She says she does not have it.
No? All right, just 1 second. I will send it. Nancy, can I email it to you now?
Sure.
I just emailed that to you. So with that in hand, are there any questions from the board?
So what was the final cost on the, everything said and done, delivered and?
173.
Final cost, just 1 second, I'll pull it up in the contract. I don't want to misquote.
We were trying to stay under the 190 mark, right?
180.
180 mark, right?
So, 180, thank you, yeah. So our budget was 180. And forgive me, I'm looking at my,
Came in like 173,
it's
so.
around 173, but I just want to give you the exact figure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look.
Yeah, I can give it to you, yeah. $173,949.45.
Thank you, Linda. I was just about to say that, but thank you.
So it's 173,949.45?
Yeah, and then, just to note, there were no substitutions. In other
Oh,
words,
great.
what we had specified, they have honored. They had some suggestions of how we could reduce the price, but we opted not to pursue those.
Okay. And was there a couple add alternates in there or no? There was just some direct buys, I think, right?
So we didn't have any, alternates per se.
Yeah.
We just allowed them to make substitutions and said we would accept or not accept them.
Right.
That it was our decision. And we could have gone the route of asking for samples to test out substitutions, but we just elected not to take any of the other substitutions offered by the other bidders.
No, that's fine. We're in a pretty good time crunch at this point. So, how are we looking on? Is this inclusive of delivery and install?
Yep.
That's correct.
Nice.
And installation date, our target date is February 1st.
And they said they can honor that?
Yep.
Yeah, it's good. I spoke with the project manager from ORI, and he said there should be no issue with the majority of the furniture. He said his one concern was we have a few products from West Elm, from their commercial line, and he said they are seeing delays with those, so he thinks we still should be okay.
Yeah, that's good news.
Yeah. So the next steps will be to start off the kickoff and go through their timeline when we need to make final decisions for them to be able to honor that February 1st install date.
Great. Yeah, I like that. That's good. That was a good piece of work. I mean, I think you were thorough about it. You know, you put together a good package. You bid out to some reputable vendors, and I think, you know, at the end of the day, I'm pretty happy with what you come up with. So, anybody else?
Yeah, I think that's, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it was bid out to four companies, right?
Yep.
So I mean, that was pretty competitive, certainly. And I think, you know, like you said, the bids were fairly close. There was no extreme outliers. So I think, you know, end of the day, I think everybody was on the same page, and it was a good, clean process. So.
Yeah. And I think even the town's relationship with ORI should be in good hands.
Yeah, I think so too. That's a good point also. All right, any questions or comments from the board on the furniture and bid?
No, good job. I was really surprised how close the bids were.
Yeah.
Do you want to announce what?
Yeah, it's not always like that.
I'm sorry, Nancy.
So it's interesting to see.
Do you want to announce the range? Just so people.
Sure, yeah, we could announce the range of the bids. That's a good idea.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Nancy said it might be prudent just to announce the range of the bids, so we could just have the high and the, you know, the high. And, Nancy.
I've got it in front of me.
Sure.
ORI 173,949, and the high bid was from Creative Office Pavilion at 186,863. So there's about a $13,000 spread.
Okay.
The nice thing about ORI is there's no substitution, so you guys get everything you picked.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for that, Larry. All right, good. Anybody, any last comments on this? No? All right, I'd like to make a motion to approve the furniture bid to ORI, who have won the low bid for the process. There was 4 bids sent out. They came in with a low bid of $173,449.45. There's no substitutions, and this price is inclusive of delivery and installation with a projected install date of February 1st. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by, was that you, Stephanie?
Yes, sir.
We'll give it to Stephanie.
Okay.
So Stephanie gets a second. If we could do a roll call.
Linda? Yes. Al?
Yes.
Carl?
Carl just said
Yes.
yes. Yeah.
There was Carl Hansen for Al.
Stephanie? Yes. Larry?
Yes.
JD?
Yes.
Steven?
Yes. All right, great. Everybody's in favor, so the motion passes. So that's good. No, that was a good piece of work. We appreciate it. That was nice. It was a really good exercise. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so that brings us to kind of conclusion here, unless there's anybody in the old business or new business to discuss at this time. No.
No, I have none.
No.
Okay. All right, let's wrap it up. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 8:16. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, seconded by Carl. Let's do a quick roll call here. I'll be good to go.
JD?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Stephanie? Yes. Carl?
Carl?
Yes, yep.
Great.
Linda? Yes. Steve?
Yes. All right, so all are in favor, so the motion passes. Everyone have a good night. Thank you for your attendance.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, thanks, everybody.
Hey,
Hi.
Thanks.
good night.
Thanks, Rachel.
Take care.
Good night.